as we arrive in the 10th race and the finale of season 3 of Indian Racing League, right at Autodromo Jose Carlos Pace, Brazil. The series that we started in China, where we moved on to Bahrain, Azerbaijan, Canada, Mexico, Singapore, USA, Japan, Abu Dhabi, and finally coming here for the finale. And what remains to be an ultimate showdown for the second P2 position for the championship. So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the final race, the Brazilian Grand Prix. And what looks gloomy at the moment will not, as all 18 drivers will light up into action, where we are underway with the qualifying for the race. So, it's a finale, and we need to have some crackers, and that's what we have in the com box with me. The race winner at Baku, it's You Can Beat Me, aka Malav Shah. So welcome Malav to the com box of IRL, and being a debut in the com box, that must be an exciting feeling.
Good evening, Suraj. Thank you for that very glorifying introduction. Yeah, glad to be here. Final race of the season. Lots of points to be decided, lots of positions to be fought for. So, should be an interesting race as Brazil always never disappoints.
Right. So, having said that, when we talk about the P2 position at the moment, so it was all tied up and all up grabs for three drivers, Vifix, Noah, and Malav, our comms buddy. But Malav, having enough of it, said it's gonna be a calm time for me. So, that being said, let's talk about the drivers right now. So, Caesar and Ferrari, Ferraris of Malav and Caesar clinching their championship, both the constructors and drivers in Abu Dhabi. So, Caesar has done and is the champion of the world once again in the history of Indian Racing League. Followed by Vfix and Nova Ways, who are separated by only 8 points. And then followed by Malav, who will comfortably finish in P4. So P4 for you, Malav. That's the best finish you had in the history of RL. So congratulations for that. And then we have Sonic, Sid Venkatesh, Arjun, who are, and then we also have Hash 9211, who's also racing today, who are all separated by a single point. Yeah, 1, 2, and 4 points respectively. So it's all up for grabs for them as well. So top 10 battle, who finishes at the top 4 is fixed. Who finishes in P5 to P6 still to be decided. And PSL Legends also has a knack if he finishes well up ahead. So from P5 Malav to right down to P11, it's just a span of 11 points. So that's a close battle, isn't it?
It is a very close battle as I see right from P5 to P11, and this is a major battle, Suraj. It's not just about the points, it's also about choosing the constructor of your choice for next season, and it's also about choosing your teammate for next season. So it's not just about the bragging rights as we might like to call it, but yeah, VFX and Nova, and then so on and so forth below down the table. I think it will be a really interesting race, and I'm sure the drivers are prepared for it.
Right, and I'm sure they are. So, talking about the constructors, and as we said, Ferrari being the champions of the world, it is and McLaren. So, McLarens are at 256 points, followed by racing points of PSL Legends of Sonic Hawk. So, Ashwin Lakhwani, our champion of season 1, did retire from the season, and the looks of it, it's gonna take some time for him to get back as his PS4 is in its dying stages. So, Racing Point, who seemed to show a lot of promise and is in P3. So, Racing Point did keep you honest, didn't it, Malav?
Oh, absolutely. For the first 3-4 races of the season, both Sonic Hawk and Ashwini, they were very, very quick. Thankfully, Caesar was able to manage was able to outscore probably both of them. But I remember especially Bahrain where they finished 3 and 4. If I'm not wrong, it was a very strong race for them. Very unfortunate, and really we really did not like the way Ashwin was riddled with technical difficulties, and he was just not able to race despite he really wanted to. So would have probably anticipated a much better or a much closer fight at the top. But it is what it is, and I hope Ashwin's game does sort out its issues, and we see him back racing probably next season.
Right. So Ashwin Lakhwani, if you hear us out, our hearts are with you and our wishes for your PS4. And we see to you, and we hope to see you soon on the racetrack. So talking about Racing Point, who are just separated by the Alfa Romeos of Nova West and Phantom by just a single point. And uh, Phantom is racing today. So Phantom and both the drivers of Alfa Romeo are racing today, and both the drivers of Racing Point, full-time drivers, are racing today as well. Followed by the Alpha Tauris of Mayank and Ace, who are 60 points and at 136. So 9 points trailing are the Mercedes of Arjun Aruncha and Serial Killer. So Alpha Tauris and Mercedes also have a battle on hand. And 12 points behind are the Red Bulls of Shah and Kana, who aren't racing today. So it is Nishan, who started as my comms buddy, went to a reserve, is now a full-time driver at Red Bull, and followed by Williams, who are P7, beg your pardon, P8 at 92 points, and followed by the Haas and Renault, who are tied up at 46 points. So that again is a battle. So whoever finishes between ahead between Haas's and Renault's will take that P9. I'm not sure if the battle is still on, but then yeah, that is the how the constructors have been, or the standings has been all throughout. So talking about the quali, Caesar has already stamped his authority by going half a tenth quicker than Phantom, and then Nova and Phantom are closely matched, and Vifix. So the battle for P2, Nova and Vifix. Nova already ahead right now. So and then Arjun is in P5 and reserving today in Ferrari in the place of our buddy Malav is Azun CR7, who is also showing good pace here, isn't he, Malav?
Oh, absolutely.
107.5.
That's a very good lap from Azun, and I think he's just on a hot lap if you want to spectate him. But yeah,
Right.
about
So
Phantom, I think that's a surprise lap from Phantom. He usually is a proper midfield driver, but he has really put up a really good lap here. Being ahead of Nova and Biffy is absolutely no mean feat. That will really help Alfa Romeo in the constructors' fight as we see PSI in P2.
that's so right, Malav. So Phantom and Nova already in P3 and P4, so they are way ahead. And Vifix in P5, Arjun P6, Azun P7, Serial P8. So it's all close between PSI Legends to Vifix with just a tenth on two separating them, followed by Arjun Arun Shah, a tenth behind these guys, and then couple of tenths behind is Azun, a tenth behind is Serial. Sonic is on an outlap. So let's see PSL Legends, who seem to be on his hot lap, and is he improving his goals to the pits? Is PSI Legend. So on the outlaps is Arjun Arun Shah at the moment, who is on his outlap. Serial Killer looks like he is on a faster lap. No, he isn't. He's already 10th behind than his previous faster run. So not gaining is for sure is Serial Killer, and goes to the pitch right away. So yeah, let's follow the Arjun Arun Shah, who started strong this season but had a couple of DNSs, and then the pace did die away. So yeah, riding with Arjun Arun Shah, and let's see if his sector 2 timings, if he improving. He needs to improve for his battle with Alpha Tauri. But then remember Alpha Tauri, so Mayank and Ace are all down below to P16 and P17 with Mayank not setting any time so far. So it looks like advantage Mercedes at the moment on their battle with Alpha Tauris. And Arjun Arunsha, is he improving his sector 2? Is he? I know. He is already 4 tenths down. So Arjun Arunsha is not. So out goes Vifix. So Vifix is out. Nova is out. That's the battle we're looking for, Malav. And
Yeah, so just about Arjun, I think he had invalidated his lap while we were watching him.
ah,
In Sid has put in a good lap. He's in P7. Sid is one of the people who usually prefers the counter strategy. He doesn't mind sacrificing his qualifying pace for some fresh tires and start from the bottom 10. This time, I think the gloves are off. It's the last race of the season, and McLaren want to show what they're made of.
and he is on the battle, right, for P5. Yeah, and he needs to finish ahead of Sonic.
Sonic,
And
correct.
so Sonic, who is in P10, who's also a guy who likes to counter strategy. So let's ride with Noah West Malav. And would you mind running us to the lap in your own driver's language?
Absolutely. Braking hard into turn one, down to third gear. Does he go into fourth soon? Yeah, he does. He just manages to keep it inside the track limits. Sweeping left hander fully flat out now. He has one decision to make. Turn four should be in the gear four. Brakes nicely, takes the apex, takes both the curbs, keeps it to the left. He's gone fastest in sector one. Now a long right-hander should be taken in the sixth gear, lifts off slightly and then picks up the power, riding the curb. Hard braking, goes down to third, and this is a very important corner not to get over eager on the traction. Manages it well, keeps it within the track limits, and then down back to second and third and fourth. Should be flat out corner this one. Now there was one braking point, important one, important not to. Oh, that's exactly what I was hoping he wouldn't do. He's just invalidated his lap onto wall of Fix, who's
He
almost.
was 2 tenths. He was 2 tenths. So let's start with VFix. So VFix, is he improving? Yes, he's improving, and he is a tenth behind his fastest time. So a tenth behind should make him go ahead of VFix of
And mind
Nova.
you,
So
Caesar has invalidated, so this is the
yeah,
lap.
so
They are
VFix,
broken
is
for.
he going for the pole lap? Is he? Oh, he just
Oh,
he for good enough for P2, but that's still a lap from VFX. 4 tenths behind Caesar has a complete dominance already. And let's start with the Arjun Arunsha. Is he improving? No, he's not improving. Arjun is improving. He is with this just 8,000s. Is he, no, he's not. So Mayank is a second and a half slower. So Vicky, Hash, all in pit. So Utkarsh is driving today on his first race. So is he improving, Utkarsh? Yes, it does, and he goes to P11 right next to Mayank. But P11, that's a position you fancy a lot, Malav.
oh,
And
absolutely. That's the position he would have wanted. Considering this is the first race of the season, he might be a little rusty. I'm not sure how much practice he has had. But from what we understand, he just wanted to jump in and have a good time. So, really good lap from him, and P11 is not bad at all. We might see some rain in the race, so he will definitely have a free choice of tires as compared to the top end.
yeah, the rain certainly is gonna make things look interesting. But the news, the story of the quali is, and Nishan 223 hasn't been able to put a time and will start right back in P18. So
I think
that's
that's
a
deliberate,
shock.
Suraj. Nishan, from what I understand, he's doing some race pace here. I can see 6 laps for him on the same tire. So I think what he's
That
been trying to
explains it.
do is practice his race timings and also ensure that. And since he has turned his traction off for the last few races, he also doesn't want to cause any trouble going into turn one on the first lap. So playing it safe, and since he is probably short of practice, he would want to not cause any trouble.
Right, so that's how the quali looks like. It's Caesar 106.5 and 3/10 shy is VFX in P2 and followed by PSI, Phantom, Nova, Arjun, Serial Killer, Sid Venkatesh in P8, Azun for reserving for Ferrari as P9, Mayank in P10, Utkarsh in P11 for the first race, and Sonic, Viki, Hash, and Redstone up taking the final few positions, and then Ace and Nishan, uh, who are at the back of the grid if I've read it correctly. So that's how it is. Uh, we are will be live with the race shortly, where now all the drivers are up in the grid, modifying their strategy, upping their fuel loads, seeing all what the others are doing. Looks like a sunny day, or if not a sunny day, it's just like sun is out, Malav, and no rain
It
so
does,
far.
Suraj. It does. So maybe the rain might hit sometime during the race or not at all. We never know what the radar always say, and whether it's how much accurate it is always up for question. But yeah, looks pretty sunny right now, so I'm sure they would all start on dry tires. Should be a one stopper if it's a dry race. Uh, I think people would want to avoid the hard tires unless they have to make an early pit stop or an early safety car comes out. The biggest shocker for me in qualifying was Nova. Uh, P5, I think, and with three other people, except for apart from Caesar qualifying ahead of him, would probably not what he was looking for. But I'm sure he's pumped up for this as we start the formation lap. So over to you.
Right. So, if so, I think this is gonna be the first dry race in the history of IRL. So we had two races in Brazil, and all of them were wet, very wet throughout the races. So dry race for the first time in Indian Racing League. So that's gonna be something, some interesting, or we will be able to see the raw pace of all the drivers. And Caesar is already marching ahead in the formation lap, warming his tires, weaving left, right, and center. So, and as we prepare for our race start. Here we are with Caesar VFX. Caesar already, so the top four are charging already, and there is a visible gap between Serial Killer, the mercy of Serial Killer, and Sid Venkatesh. So Sid Venkatesh is holding the pack for a bit. Looks like he is, and so yeah, all the strategies, all the brain games coming into picture. So VFX and Noah, that's the battle we are looking for. And
Absolutely, and
VFX,
top 10 are on softs as we assumed. One interesting thing is Sonic Hawk is on hards. He's the only person on hards in the entire field, so his pace should be interesting to watch. And even more interesting, as I see a Red Bull completely going off track. I'm not sure
uh-huh,
who that was.
right. So
That was
all the
Vicky.
right. So all the top tens are on soft tires, and all the bottom ten, except for Nishan, are on a medium tires. And yes, so Sonic is on hard tires. So Sonic and Nishan being the only guys in bottom ten who are not on the medium tires. So uh, Nishan should get a Caesar and Vifix. And it seems like they have collided, and they are they haven't disclosed. So Caesar would have that tad bit, little bit of cold tires, and as we wait for all the drivers, or all the drivers wait for the final time, one final time in season three, for the five lights to go off, and right. So we wait for the five lights to go on, and it's drivers are all geared up the final race, and so it's five lights on and five lights off, and away we go. So Caesar does get a better start, and so does get a better start is Nova. Nova is already down to the P3 and challenging Vifix into the corner of final, and there is a collision. So somebody is off from the bottom five, and that's an insane start from Caesar, followed by Vifix and followed by Nova, and is PSL Legends and Arjun and Rishabh going side by side. Do they touch? They did touch, and Arjun takes the P4 back from PSL Legends, and followed by so beg your pardon. So it was Phantom who is in P3 and Nova is in P5. So it is Phantom or the Alfa Romeo who is in P3. And so yeah, so it's Caesar who is who leads right now by Vifix, followed by Phantom for Arjun, Sonic. So Sonic is all down to P12. So that was a stunning getaway from Caesar Malav.
Absolutely, Caesar absolutely needed the start. Noah, I don't know what happened. I was focusing more on the bottom 10. Saw a couple of wings flying. Azun is the biggest loser out of loser in terms of positions because he has lost 8 positions so far. I think he'll be pitting at the end of this lap. Oh no, he continues, so probably not enough damage on that Ferrari.
Right,
Red
so
Storm
that
pits.
yeah, so that's a glitch that we are all acquainted to. This lap 3 already, but it is in lap 3, lap 2. DRS is not enabled, and Noah, who needed a flying start, has already lost the position to PSI Legend. So PSI Legend had a flyer, no he didn't. So Arjun Arun Shah gained 2 positions in the first few corners of the race and is looking mighty in this race. So Vifix, who seems to follow Caesar and is staying behind him, not doing anything silly. Caesar just playing it safe, deploying no energy and doesn't need to. And Nova, so Nova is still stuck behind PSL Legend. So Nova is behind. It deploys all the batteries. So go side by side into the sector. Will he take the corner? Go side by side. Is Nova is gonna be into turn 1. So brakes hard in turn 1 is Nova, but Nova doesn't take out of PSL Legend, but will have a better exit on the PSL Legends. Will have the DRS. He has a DRS for some reason. So it is lap 3 already now. Yes, it is lap 3. And but has DRS, so is PSI Legend. So that's a stalemate. But Nova deploying all the battery he can, and so does PSI Legend. So Nova still stuck behind PSI Legends, and Arjun is stuck behind Vifix. So it is all stalemate from P1 to P7. And Mayank being the gaining 2 positions already, and has gained 5 positions, and so is Saurav Naik, all down in P9 and P11. So they are having a great race. But Vifix is keeping Caesar honest, or is just Caesar doesn't need to do anything, Malav?
I think Caesar is trying to manage the gap in the first few laps, but he would like to be a little bit. It's too close for comfort right now. As you see, the gap is less than 3 tenths. There might be an overtake on here.
Right, so as we move to Nova is making a charge on PSL Legends. They to touch, and Nova spins, and that is not a good news for Nova, and he is now losing positions right down to P13. So that was an ambitious move, but the stewards will have a say on that. So our P2 contender Nova is all down to P13, and it's gonna be uphill task for him if he has to mount any challenge on Vifix. So Vifix, talking about Vifix, who looks solid on Caesar and has all the energy, and so is Caesar. So looks like Vifix is just staying, or is just trying to stay behind Caesar, take all the DRS he can, but that was a shocker for Nova. Nova already losing, so
I reckon I don't think he has any damage because I saw his wing was more or less intact. Talking about a little bit down the field, Utkarsh did manage to overtake Saurabh, so the hearts has switched around. And I don't know if you picked up on this, but both the Renaults had really terrible luck on lap 1. Both had to pit. They are really languishing behind at the bottom of the field. They will be hoping for a safety car now.
right. So no has boys today. So that means Renault still should get that P9 position. But Arjun Arun Shah. So Arjun Arun Shah has overtaken Phantom, and we missed that completely. So Arjun Arun Shah is on a charge right now, and Arjun Shah is capable of that pace. We have seen in him showing a strong pace, and PSI Legends getting a 3-second penalty already. Malav, Brazil is a track where it's not so easy to not get a penalty, right?
Oh, absolutely. I think the most difficult ones are in the first sector, the turn one and two, where the exits are so hard to navigate. You want to get on the power early. You can see that you will gain time, but you also know you won't get a vending a warning, and three warnings equal a 3 second penalty. While it's possible to be penalty free, but it's very difficult, and I think the drivers will have a hard time. So it's kind of a balance. It's kind of something you want to negotiate. Either do you want to pick up penalties, or do you want to go slightly easier in the corners and then ensure you have lesser penalties than those around you.
That's so like it. But yeah, so now we see some clouds hovering over here. So is the rain coming, or is the rain imminent here? Brazil without rain is not a love story that we know or we are aware about. So talking about Nova, who was down to P13, is on a charge, has overtaken Saurabh Naik, is on a move on the mediums of Utkarsh and the hearts of Sonic. So Sonic, with those sort of hard tires, has made some position. So as we see, Utkarsh already out of VRS, and is Nova closer now? So we see a battle going on. Is Utkarsh gonna make a move on Sonic? No, he does not. So that
Did I say a
being said,
drop of rain, Suraj?
yes. So the rain, we can
I
see the
think I
drop
saw
of
rain,
rain.
yeah.
So that is the rain coming and the lap 8. And as we were saying, Brazil without rain is not a love story that we are aware about. So let's see who makes the first lunge, who takes the first bite and finishes. Or if it is raining right now, we need at least a lap or two for the intermediates to go on, Malav. And
It should, and I think this will probably benefit the people who are on harder tires, because when it rains and it's not intermediates, it's the people who are on harder tires, so be it mediums or it be it hards.
so
They
I see,
find it
I
a
see
little
somebody,
easier.
somebody going to pit. The Oxidize, so Oxidize thought of going to a pit,
He is
and
in the pit. He's not?
then he did not, and then he was side by side with Caesar. So that is a dangerous driving. So does he go to the intermediates?
He does.
He does go to intermediates. So Oxidize goes to intermediates right away with Caesar. Is
And
he
PSI
losing
has
time?
overtaken Phantom.
Right, so PSI, so Phantom has lost the position. But talking about Caesar, so Caesar is just 3/10 of his sector timing, so it is not as bad, or it's not just ready for inters, but surely next lap it has to be inters. And let's see who's for the pit stops. Somebody going to pit stops. And nobody yet. So I see. So Caesar is approaching the pit stops. Does he go? Does he not go? Vivix closely following him, gaining on Caesar is. But Caesar doesn't go. He does not. So does Vivix? No, Vivix follows him as well. Arjun follows him as well. PSI follows Phantom. Sid Mayank, who is known to have take the audacious strategy, he is not. So Hash, Sonic, Nova. So Noah has overtaken Utkarsh, and Noah is on a charge on Sonic. Will he make a lunge here? No, he doesn't. But lines him up is Noah. Is out of DRS is Sonic. So is Noah out of DRS. But then that is a stalemate as of now for Utkarsh. So somebody has gone off. So is it a Renault who has
It is
gone off? So it is
oxidized.
oxidized. So who tries to
He is
reset on
not
the track?
enjoying life on those inters.
He is not. So he's struggling left, right, and center on those green ball tires of Inters. So what does he do? Does he go to the pits to change the tires? He does go, or
He
has
does.
he got any? He gets a 5 second of the oxidized retires. He had his share. Malav, and he is done and dusted for this race. So, talking about the other Renault, he is on a set of hard tires, Redstone. So, Caesar is still not going. So, is it just a light rain or is it a passing rain, Malav? What do you think?
I think it has probably gotten heavier in the last couple of laps, and I see turn one. That's a lot of cars. Yeah, they keep it all clean. Kudos to them. I think it's gonna get heavier, the rain, but
Right, so
it's still too early for the
Arjun
intermediate.
and Arjun Arusha crashes, and that's a safety car, ladies and gentlemen. So he was going on a move on the Phantom, or rather the PSL Legends, and that that didn't look
That's a
well
shame.
for. That's a shame. And so PSL Legends. So I think it was a PSL Legends who he was battling with. They did touch, and looks like he got he lost the traction, and that particular corner is known for guys to lose out on traction very easily, even though you're on medium. It's not guaranteed yet. So does Caesar goes to pits right now? What does he think? Is it a time for inters? Is it a time for mediums? Yes, he
He
does go,
comes
and
in.
Vifix follows him. No, Vifix doesn't follow him, and Caesar gets a
Caesar stays
5 second
out.
penalty. Vifix stays out. PSL Legend stays out. Sid Venkatesh stays out. Mayank, does he go to the
Nishan
pits?
has a drive-through.
Nishant gets a drive through. Hash stays out. Noah goes to the pits. Follows Caesar. Utkarsh follows him. Azun follows him. Nishan has got a drive through penalty.
Utkarsh
Saurav
has got a 5 second. Redstone has a drive-through. It's all happening here. It's just cut loose.
and
People getting
Oxidax.
penalties left, right, and center.
Right, and Vicky. So Saurav stays out. Vicky, does he go to the pits? Drive through penalty gets for Ace as
Ace has a
well.
drive-through.
So Vicky goes Redstone Dove. Does he go serial killer? Does he go? He's already on enter, so I don't think he's going. So let's see. Vifix, PSI, Phantom who have stayed out. Sid Venkatesh have stayed out. Mayank who have stayed out. Caesar on the green vault enters tires. Hash is on a medium tires, hasn't gone to pits. Sonic Hog on that set of hard tires. Utkarsh went to pits and he came out on hard tires, so surely
So
he
has
must be
Noah.
the
So Noah has pitted and he has gone to the medium. So
medium. So
it's
it must be
clearly a
a
difference in opinion of what is the fastest tire right now and which will have the correct grip. And just to note, Suraj, DRS has not been disabled yet. I think that's probably the benchmark which a lot of drivers use, whether they want to switch to Inters or not. So DRS is still enabled. I think probably that's why. But I think others who have pitted on Inters have gambled that it will be wet enough by the time safety car actually comes in, which might be the calculation. As Sonic Hawk gets a 5 second, I
so
think there's
Sonic goes
something
to the
wrong,
pits. So Sonic goes to the pits
and he
and
gets a
he gets a
penalty.
penalty as well. So I mean, all the drivers who are going to pit. So Sonic goes for the inter tires. So Sonic takes a call.
Zoom gets a 5 second.
Oh, what is happening over here?
I think Suraj, I think what's happening is there is something wrong with the delta time in the game because we have seen a lot of unusual number of penalties, or it could be just that drivers have no grip and they're just not able to slow down on their dry tires on this wet track.
Right. So a shame that we cannot see the temperatures of those tires. But Vifix, PSI, Phantom, Sid, and Mayank would be struggling to get the temperatures up. But I could see a bit of sunshine in certain parts of the track, Malav, and it's not as gloomy, or it doesn't seem like as it's gonna be a full wet at certain points for sure, isn't it?
You're absolutely right. It's not as gloomy as you expect wet sessions to be. Full wets, I think, might not happen at all this race. I think if you see the number of people on inters, it's still lesser than the number of people on dry tires right now. That probably tells you in which way the drivers are leaning when it comes to tire choice. So I think we'll get to see. And one more thing, because it's under safety car, these people will lose a lot of temperature behind the safety car. Every tire will lose a lot of temperature. So it should be a very, very tense and tricky restart. I think we have one more lap to go, but
Right, so let's talk about the tires. So all
Sid
top
Venkatesh
five.
pits, sorry. Sid
So
Venkatesh, Phantom
Sid
both pit.
Venkatesh and Phantom, both of them getting a
Oh,
5 penalties. Looks like a glitch, and uh, they are going on a set of inter tires. So inter tires is the one that people are going, and Phantom has gone to on a set of hard tires. Has gone Phantom. So Phantom clearly believing that this is not. So Arjun Arunsha leaves the session. That was a season dusted for Arjun Arunsha. But yeah, talking about the tire choices, top three, Vivek, PS, and Mayank are a 12 lap old soft tires, the tires that they started the race on. Followed by Caesar on inters, and followed by Hash on a medium tire. So it's an old medium tires he had. 12 lap old medium tires. Utkarsh has gone on a hard tires, lap old. Saurav Naik on inters, and Nova on a medium tires, Serial on inter tires, Azun on a medium tires, Vifix. So top 10, only three of the top 10s are on inter tires, Malav, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the bottom 7 are on inter tires. So the bottom 7 are surely are taking a risk as they might feel so, but only only three guys in top 10 on inters. So surely there is a difference in the opinion. And as the safety car is in the lab, we have to see how is Caesar gonna charge, and surely Vifix, PS, and Mayank. They will be warming their tires, and VFX will be controlling the pace right
I think it's
now.
gone.
And so Vifix, so the PS Legend goes to the pits right away, and so Vifix and Mayank. So Mayank are the top two at the moment. So Mayank losing already to Caesar, and Caesar has taken P2 position. And it looks like the Inters are the ones to go with, and
It's too
Caesar,
wet. It's too wet.
it's
People
too
are
wet,
just
and
losing track.
Caesar is surely can make an easy move on the whip on the McLaren of Vifix, and go side by side is Caesar. Will he make the lunge on this turn 4? He does, and he takes the lead right in the few corners of,
Haas behind.
and
Oh,
that's
one
and
Haas is round. Utkarsh is round.
so Utkarsh has gone away, and so the house of Utkarsh has crashed. So clearly, Inters are the tires to go with, and it's not a dual lap old soft tires. So that's not how it is. And as we can see, Vifix is clearly struggling to have a grip, and Caesar is already a couple of seconds ahead with only 3/4 of the lap done. And Hash, so Hash is being challenged by the hats of Saurav Naik, so that rhymed well, and Saurav takes the P3 position right from the
In fact, it was
Williams of
Saurabh
Hash.
and Utkarsh, teammates who collided while Saurabh was trying to overtake Utkarsh just at turn 4. And that really ruined Utkarsh's race. Let's see if he pits and then and
And
Nishan
yeah,
gets.
Nishan gets, so everybody who's going is getting up 5 seconds. So that surely has to be clear. So somebody has gone off. Is it a Mayank, or is it Nishan? So Nishan is going away. So we did see somebody going off, and right. So Nova guy, and Nova is coming under attack from Sid Venkatesh, and surely it is Inter's time, and Nova might be gutted with the advantage. And so it is a three-way battle between serial killer Vicky and Hash, and go side by side are this corner. But it is the Red Bull of Vicky, who comes out of on top, followed by Hash, serial killer, and the mediums of Hash is not playing well for him. So Vicky with the enters goes ahead, and followed by,
Hash is round.
so
Williams
Hash
sector
goes
2.
off. So Hash goes off. But yeah, so all the medium guys struggling, and Vifix. So Vifix is now challenged by the McLaren of, sorry, the Haas of Saurav Naik. He's struggling for sure, and
So it's really interesting, Suraj. These people are still staying out. The dry runners are still staying out. Bifix past the pit lane is not pitting. Neither has Nova. And I just realized DRS has been enabled. So whether playing tricks, Caesar pulling out a 6 second gap in 3 laps. But it seems like dry weather is on the way.
certainly, and it looks like the track is drying up, and Vifix is maintaining the position, maintaining the gap at 6 seconds, and Saurav Naik with that inters is not gaining as we thought so. So is it the dry time, guys? And Noah is also following closely and is go side by side on the Mercedes of serial killer, and
Oh, there was contact.
Noah. Did they touch Malav? I think it's Noah who lost a bit of traction, but so yeah, he's challenging him into the final corner and takes a position, but will have the sleep stream is serial killer. Has does he has the battery? Yes, he does have the battery. Will have the DRS,
Caesar into the pits.
and Caesar goes to the pits,
The
and it
Inters
is
are pitting again. People on Inters are pitting again,
people
and they
are,
are still not able to. Red Bull loses a wing.
and
I
it
think
is
that
a
was
slow
Vicky.
stop. Okay, so Caesar has to serve his 5 second penalty, and what does that do? It brings Nova West in P1. That's what it shows in my timing screen.
He
Is it
is
the
in
same?
P1, and Alfa Romeo are 1-2.
Oh, that surely plays into the hands of Alfa Romeo. So P1, P2, medium lap, 5 laps, all mediums of Nova. Uh, should make should make to the end, Malav.
It should. The hard tires will definitely make to the end. They will be. I don't think there's any problem with that. It depends on when Noah pits. I'm just trying to check how old Noah's tires are. They are five
It's
laps
five
old.
laps old, and
So
Vifis
it
is
will be a stretch. It will be a stretch to take them to the end. But I think he might be committed to it if he doesn't pull out enough gap.
so that could be a master strategy by the Alfa Romeo guys who didn't go to enters at all, and I think those are the guys who have just made one stop. So Vifix, Phantom, and Nova are the only guys who didn't go to pits at all, and Azun goes to pits, Hash goes to pits now. So Hash is the guy who hasn't gone to pit stop. Let's talk about Mayank, who has made just one pit stop. So Mayank has also not gone to Inter, so he also went to hard tires. So that was also one hell of a strategy from
Yeah, he'll be
Mayank.
going to the hand on those hearts.
Serial killer is on soft, so he will have to go to pits. Difficult to stretch the soft tires. 18 odd laps. That's gonna be a stretch for. So Caesar, who was P1, is now down to P4 and is 14 seconds behind Noah West and Phantom. The caliber Caesar has should make up those places, but it's gonna be a straight away battle between Nova and Vifix Malov.
Oh, absolutely. I just noticed Caesar has another 5 second penalty for speeding into the pit lane. So he has pitted 2 times. He has served one 5 second, but another 5 second will be added to his race time. Suraj, I want to ask you if you want to take a wild guess,
Mm-hmm.
what is the, without looking, obviously, how many stops do you think has a one driver made, which is the maximum so far in this race? You want to take a wild
Uh,
guess on that one?
right, so I don't have it on my screen, but has to be the Renault since they did
Yeah,
go
you
to
are
pit. So
right.
is it press
You
on
want to take
top?
a guess on the number of stops?
Is it four?
It's five actually.
Oh my lord.
And
So
Ace has 4 stops so far. Uh, Plenty of people on 3 stoppers and the Alfa Romeo on 1 stopper. Mayank is on a 1 stop, has stopped once. Ash has stopped once. And
right.
I think everyone in top 10 should be going to the end, except for Serial Killer. It will be difficult for him to stretch those tires until the end.
Right, so talking about the pit stop, so Ace and Utkarsh making 4 stops, 3 stops, 5 stops is Redstone Derp. And the only one stopper guys are Hash, Mayank, Vifix, Phantom Nova, who didn't go to inters at all, and the track has dried up completely. So Caesar is already charging, is 5 seconds behind Azun, putting the fastest lap, needs that P1. He wants to finish the season on a high. And so Vifix is a second and a half behind Caesar. And all that we need to see is the gap from the leader. So gap from the leader and the gap between Nova and Vifix is 14 seconds. So 14 seconds in a span of 16 laps. So almost a second, Malav, that he needs to gain. So how is the P2 positions, P2 lined up? So is it whoever finishes ahead, Malav, takes the P2? Or is it like
Not
no one
exactly.
needs to?
So VFix has a 8-point gap over Nova.
Right.
As it stands, Nova will definitely take P2. It depends whether how his tires are at the end of the race, and I think what's really important for Nova, Phantom is in P2, so he can act as a rear gunner, try to hold Caesar off before he tries to. Maybe even a lap or two would make a huge difference, because in Brazil, except for probably the start finish straight, it's really difficult to overtake fast corners, medium speed corners. And someone is round, Saurabh is round, and he resets on track, so
there
that will be a
is
penalty.
the sector 3. So how is the penalty for? So is resetting on track allowed, or how is it?
It is not Suraj.
Oh, so it's a safety car. It's a safety car, Malav,
It is
and
not a safety car.
that should play in the hands of Nova, who only needs like 10 seconds or 12 seconds to make a pit stop, as everybody is. So let's see if Nova is going for the
He
pit
should
stop.
go on
So
the softs. If he has a fresh pair of softs, he might
yes,
go on
so
the
he,
softs.
or
He'll do
rather,
15 laps easily.
yes, and Noah and Caesar can battle it out. So Caesar is 15 seconds behind, Fifth is 90 seconds behind, so he should come in front of them. As a matter of fact, both the Alfa Romeos should come in front of the Ferrari of Caesar and Malo. So goes to the pit is Noah West, but does he get the penalty? No, he does not get the
He
penalty.
doesn't.
So
He's very
so
careful.
there's
Phantom
not
stays out, which is, I think, is a very smart decision.
right. So Phantom. So which tire does Nova go? There's a fresh set of soft tires. You can see those shiny walls. It doesn't look like it's a fresh soft tires. As a Nova. So it is a fresh soft tires. Does he come ahead of Vifix?
Oh, this is gonna be close. This
It's
is
gonna
gonna
be
be close. Vifix
close.
will overtake him, I think.
Yes, he
Oh,
does.
that was very close.
Noah, but then Noah has a tire advantage, so it's gonna be super easy for Noah to get it. But yeah, who is in a prime position to challenge Caesar? It is Noah West. So Mayank does not go to pits. Azun doesn't go to the pits. Hash doesn't go to pits. Sonic doesn't go to the pits. Serial Killer does not
Does.
go to pits.
Either
He
killer does. He
does.
just pitted from softs to mediums.
Right. So let's see. So Noah has gone to pits. Azun has gone to pits. Serial has gone to pits. Sid Venkatesh has gone to pits. So it is advantage. So Phantom has to go to pits. Did he make a mistake by not going to pits, or is it the double stacking
I think it is
that Alfa
tactical.
Romeo?
They want to hold Caesar up, uh, and Caesar has a 5 second which he will not be able to get. He will not be able to remove it. So Phantom wants track position, and let's see.
Right. So Noah needs to have 8-point advantage. The fastest
Over
lap,
Vapix.
obviously, Noah will take. So he has a single point. So 7 points. So if Noah finishes P2 and Vivek finishes P3, which looks a likely event at this point, that would be only a 6-point advantage. So that will not be enough for Nova. So Nova has to finish P1 if he needs to
He has to
have
win the
any.
race. He has
He
to.
has to win the race.
I anticipate VFX finishing in the podium positions. I think because Phantom is on hards and Mayank is also on hards, they might drop off a little bit. So Caesar, VFX, and Nova will be fighting. The only handicap Caesar has right now is he has a 5-second penalty, which will be added to his race time. So if Nova
Right.
can jump VFX at the start, because that's really important, because otherwise VFX will be in the DRS of Caesar. If he can jump VFX on the start or the first couple of laps, it's possible for him. The issue with Noah, he would not have liked the safety car because all the gap he had built has just gone.
That's that is 100% true. But yeah, but Nova with those fresh sort of soft tires might look mighty, right? He would have a go on Vifix right away. And as you see, he is a little behind, but the safety car is not in at this point. But uh, Nova should have that advantage over. So safety car is in this lap, Malav. So safety car is in this lap, and Phantom is the guy who will be controlling the pace. And so Caesar is already behind this, but Nova is so Noah is quite behind. So Nova
Yeah,
goes
battling.
battling already side by side is Noah and Vifix. Does he go?
He's
Noah
got
takes
him.
already. So Noah is already. Uh, so Noah has overtaken Vifix already. Is Malav? Yes, it looks
He
like
has.
that. But
I think VFX just caught out
and
on
he
on
is
the.
already challenging Caesar for the into the turn four. Will he make the move? Makes just stays behind. So Phantom is holding Caesar, and Caesar behind is Nova, and Nova Vifix. Vifix lost the position in the straight, but looks like something went off with Vifix, or that was a killer start by Nova. So we'll come to that in the post race as we talk to these guys what happened in safety car. But as it looks, it is Nova who has overtaken Vifix and is closely following Caesar. Will he would obviously want to make a move on Caesar with a fresh rubber of red wall tires. Deploys all the overtake he has and will take a slipstream. So Noah overtakes Phantom, and Phantom overtakes. Sorry, beg your pardon. Noah overtakes Phantom as well. So is closely tucked behind. Should have a better exit. Noah West. Is it the time where he tries to make the move? We are live with him. Takes a look, but doesn't. Six behind Caesar.
That was
So
too close.
that was
Suraj
too close to
Noah
comfort.
almost damaged his wing while trying to overtake Caesar. But I think he just needs to play smart. Now he knows Caesar has a 5 second. So he just needs to play smart. Although he would not know whether it's from speeding in the pit lane or under a safety car, so probably he doesn't want to take that chance. And interestingly, it's Utkarsh who's trying to unlap himself, and he's on the softs
That's
as well.
he's on a soft front tire. So Utkarsh is
So
trying to
that will be
unlap,
really
and
annoying for
that
the top two.
right. So looks like two cars into one doesn't go to that corner, but certainly a ghosted car into one does go into that corner. So taking a slipstream. So is this the moment? Is it the time where Noah takes the lead, and he does take the go side by side? He has gone deployed all the overtake he has, but does he make the move on season? Yes, he does, and takes the lead of the Brazilian Grand Prix. And with those fresh set of soft tires, he is. But then Caesar will have the DRS, and he has a lot more energy than Nova. So Nova has to build the gap, over a
VFX and
second band.
Phantom,
So
the battling VFX just got past Phantom, turn 4.
right, so
That was important for
Phantom.
VFX to try to not get detached from Noah. He would want to be as close to him as possible on track so as to capitalize on any mistake Noah or Caesar made.
Right, so Noah also has a penalty. Caesar also has a penalty. Vifix has no penalty. So that is interesting. So let's see about the penalty. So 3 second has Nova, so that's a corner cutting penalty. If Caesar has got a 5 second, fair or not fair, we do not know. So Nova has already pulled out a gap of a second and a half. So as it stands, Vifix Nova has to pull a gap. and should expect that Caesar pulls a gap of 5 seconds on Fifis as well. So there is somebody has gone off. So Utkarsh has crashed, and that's a yellow flag. Is it a safety car? Is it a virtual one? It's just
He has DNF'd. He has DNF'd in the pits. He has retired in the pits.
right. So that is so Nova with that set of soft tires has gone to
This is
P1.
intense,
So
Suraj. With 9 laps to go, we still don't know who's going to finish P2. And from the looks of it, VFX is still having the upper hand because he will finish P2. As far as I know, I think it's 25 points for P2 and 30 for P1. So the gap is not enough
right,
for Noah to take P2.
but a point to or noteworthy point over here, Malav, is that Noah West, who was started in P4, did collide with the racing point and was P13, P14. So P14 to P1, the safety car did play into his hand, but that's a stellar drive that he's doing,
Oh,
Malav.
absolutely. And the decision to stay out and not go on inters, that has played a massive role in his track position right now. Because if he had pitted under the safety car, he would again be battling a lot of traffic, which will be in the midfield, and he would not have probably in this position right now.
Right, so on that discussion we had since also Mayank had overtaken Phantom, and Phantom is coming back on Mayank, so takes the position. Yes, he does, and Mayank takes the position back from Mayank. Phantom takes the position back from Mayank, and that was a battle that we missed, and that's a battle that we should closely follow because closely following Phantom and Mayank is Azun and Serial Killer, so it's a four-way battle that is being going for the P4 position, with Phantom already having 8-second penalty and Mayank having just 5-second penalty. So Mayank is having his fuel issues as we see the yellow fuel gauge being lightened up. So Mayank needs to manage his fuel well. So Phantom is behind. So Nova says the fastest lap, the thing that he had to do, and he does. And crucially,
He's pulling away, isn't he?
he's pulling away, and 2.5 seconds behind Caesar is whipping. So he should hope that Caesar pulls a 5-second gap. So he's going slow is Phantom. He is so Malav is an attack with Azun and Serial Killer. So it's a four-way battle going on, and I hope you're keeping an eye on that, Malav. That's a fascinating battle that we are seeing at the moment.
I'm actually keeping an eye out on the battles further below the field. Sid Venkatesh pulled a great move on. Almost got hashed, but I think there was a bit of contact, so he couldn't get past. So Sid Venkatesh on soft tires is definitely keen to take a lot of positions right now.
Right, so Sid Venkatesh, if he finishes in P9, by the virtue of which he should get that P5 position, unless Phantom and so Phantom doesn't look like he's in a contention for P4, but P5, beg your pardon. P4 is all sealed by you, Malav, in the Drivers' Championship. But yeah, so as Sonic is pulling a move on the Shan. So Hash and Sonic battling. So Sonic, so Sonic.
For the second time in this race, Hash has an incident.
And is it a safety car? No, a virtual one. No, it is not. So Hash has left the session. 6 laps to go, and that is not something that Numa would be imagining. So let's see if Caesar is pulling out a gap on Vifix. 2.5 seconds was the gap couple of laps before, and 2.5 seconds is the gap right now.
So here's something interesting, Suraj. Nova would be hoping that Caesar is as fast as possible. Because if Caesar pulls out a 5-second gap on VFix, VFix finishes P3, and that gives Nova P2 in the Drivers' Championship.
Yes, that's it. And also, Nova would have that 5-second penalty which Caesar served. And Caesar served, and he should be hoping that he at least have a 5-second gap on Caesar just to cover up and get that P1. So not sure if it has it has, if it is on the minds of Nova, but it is certainly on our minds. And let's see the close battles anywhere. So it is
Mayank
Mayank.
and Serial Killer.
So
Yeah.
Mayank and Serial Killer are closely following all art of ERS. And Sid Venkatesh is all up P7 and is closely and is catching up these guys, Serial and Mayank. So Mayank, who finished P6 in the Drivers' Championship, didn't had a season, and Alpha Tauri's who did try to show some promise to finish P4 in the constructors, they did fade away. But yeah, Mayank certainly has a lot more pace than where he has in the Driver Championship. But the find of the season was PSI Legends, who has DNF Malav. He has some pace, especially in now in the USA, where he had a stellar drive, and that
Oh,
is
absolutely.
something.
PSI has been really, really good this season. He has shown tremendous pace, enough to challenge VFX. I think in USA was it when he got a podium. He has been a little bit unfortunate with incidents, so maybe he needs to might be a little bit careful while racing others. But if talking about race pace or one lap pace, I think he had a good race in Singapore, or at least a qualifying session in Singapore as well. So he is one of the drivers was who was unknown to the league, but I think he has done a really, really good job.
Right, so 19 drivers started this race, only 14 running at the moment, and it is Noah who is pulling a gap of almost 3 seconds, and Vifix is 3 seconds behind Caesar, so 3 more laps, and Caesar needs to pull that 2 gaps, or if it is not, then surely it is Vifix who's taking the P2 position.
The gap
Talking
is
about
increasing. It was 2.5 seconds a couple of laps ago. It's almost 3.2, 3.3 now. So Caesar is definitely pushing. They both have the same tire age, tire life. Sorry, it's something which we might get to see on the last lap. Who
right.
gets to
So talking about Nova, sorry, talking about Vifix. So Vifix, I think he was one of the most consistent drivers. Unfortunate for him, should have had a win in one of the races, but he hasn't. But Vifix, a
I
driver of high
agree. VFX
caliber.
has been really consistent, except for the first couple of races where I think both the McLaren cars suffered a lot of bad luck. But VFX has been pretty consistent. He has kept out of trouble. Usually gets consistent podiums, as do Noah and Caesar. And yeah, a force to be reckoned with. I think with more races under his belt and more experience, I'm sure he'll be able to challenge the likes of Caesar, consistently for race wins.
So that was Vifix, who McLaren's, who we all talked about, didn't had first few races to their liking, but then they did turn their campaign up and are and will finish P2 in the Constructors Championship. So that's a solid drive from Vifix and Sid Venkatesh and Nishan retires. Nishan certainly didn't had a race that he would fancy being the full-time driver. That is, but the crucial is Vifix is 4 seconds behind Caesar, and he's losing time. Uh, that is game on. That's a game on, Malav. 1 second
It
more,
is.
and Nova takes the P2 position. Uh, right, so Arjun Arunsha on the chat saying missing out on the fun. Yes, and we do miss you out, buddy, in the race on the track. That was unfortunate, but we wish you will come back stronger next season round. But yeah, so Fifix is 4.5 seconds almost behind Caesar. Needs to keep the gap below P5 if in case he has if he needs to. And Noah needs to have that 5 second gap just to cover up any unfair penalties that Caesar had served. So if not, then it is game over for Noah. And right, so Phantom is in P4. Let's see what the penalty situations for Phantom. 8 seconds. and so he should feel far below. But nonetheless, it's Alpha Romeos who are taking the P3. Talking about the Alpha Romeos of Nova, who is on his penultimate lap. So Nova, a driver of high caliber, with all the battle like for like to Caesar in some capacity, Malov, and he had some few unfortunate races. Things didn't go well. Some lobby
Oh,
glitches.
absolutely. So I think Noah and Caesar are drivers who, if one is behind the other, it's really, really hard to overtake. I remember Bahrain, I remember China, where Caesar couldn't overtake Noah, and I think Bahrain was he overtook him on the second to last lap or something. As the gap I see to Vfx is just above 5 seconds now for Caesar. So yeah, Noah is one of the
Yeah.
drivers who I think if I have to single out one driver who can challenge Caesar, that's Noah. If Noah gets no bad luck, yeah, he has had his share of bad luck this season. I remember Singapore, he lagged out. There was one more race where, despite qualifying well, there was a lobby
Right.
glitch and he was put at the end of the grid.
And it is the final lap, the final sector that we are when it brings the curtains down on the season 3 of Indian Racing League, and it is, if not, the Alfa Romeo of Noah West who takes the checker flag first and is crucially finishing ahead of Caesar. And yes, Caesar, so Vifix, who needs to finish below under 5 seconds, no, he doesn't, and
Ooh.
takes the P3 is Vifix, and followed by Phantom, Serial Killer, and Serial Killer finished P4, and Mayank, who had 8 second penalty, finishes P8, and it is Azun. Solid drive by Azun CR7, and his P5, followed by his Phantom P6, Sid Venkatesh P7, Mayank P8, Sonic P9, Vicky still on the race, the Red Bull reserving today, and will take checker flag P10, and that's it. So it is, as of now, the provisional win stays with Noah West, who, as of now, is taking the P2. Seems provisional at the moment, considering the 5 second penalty of Caesar. And having said that, that is how the race unfolds. A race full of drama, with starting on dry, with the rain coming in, few guys going into inters, few choosing to stay out on dry tires, and then it's a super sunny end to the Brazilian Grand Prix and super sunny end to the season 3 of Indian Racing League. And this is how the one hell of a season, with Caesar taking the Drivers' Championship, and the constructor as well, with our comms buddy Malav. Having said that, let's just hop on to the race post race party, Malav, and I will see you over there. So that was one hell of a race, guys, and Nova finishing P1, followed by Caesar, Vifix, Serial Killer, Azun, Phantom, Sid Venkatesh, Mayank, Sonic Hawk, Vicky, Redstone, Dop, Hash, Ace 1426, and Nishan. Still classified, having DNFing at the end, and then Utkarsh, Saurav, PSI, Arjun, Oxidize, not finishing the race. Talking about the drivers, so Noah West, first of all, that was
Hello.
one hell of a drive. Right down to P14, finishing P1, staying out on hard, dry set of tires. Talk us through that.
Yeah, the start wasn't great. Got taken. I had a few incidents, let's just say that. But in the pit stops, I knew it wasn't gonna be wet for long, so I just went for the dry tire. But the safety
Right,
cars had out a lot.
right, right.
These
So,
guys didn't pit under the second safety car, so I got the soft advantage.
so did you very aware that Caesar had a 5 second penalty which he had served in the pits, which might be fair and which might not be fair? So was it on your
Uh,
mind, and were you pushing for it?
I didn't know if it was fair or not, but I did try to get a 3 second gap to him, so I would finish ahead of him even with my penalty. Like
Right.
even
So
if it wasn't four, but I couldn't manage that the 5 second gap.
right. So as it stands right now, you have the P2, and congratulations for that. Might be provisional, and
Thank
let's talk to Caesar if he is in the party. In the party, yes, he is. So Caesar, uh, that was a strong quali. That was a strong race start. It was a decent strategy with you going inters and inters being the best tires, but then obviously the safety car did spice the things up, right?
It's ruined the race for me, to be honest. And somehow I got 5 seconds speeding in both of my pit stops, so that was pretty weird. But
Talking
yeah,
about that, so
congratulations.
was it a fair one? Was it an unfair one? Let's just
No,
get
no,
the P2.
that was fair. That was all
Right. So
me.
that
That's
is
in
P2 for
qualification.
Nova then. That's P2 for Nova.
Yeah, that's P2 for Noah in the championship. So congratulations to him on winning the race and to VFix on the podium. So yeah, it was quite an interesting race. Uh, wasn't so much until the first safety car, but it just turned the race on its head. So yeah, it was all about just trying to push and keep the gap of over 5 seconds to VFix. So my last 4 5 laps were as good as quali laps. So yeah, pretty happy that in the end I was able to maintain that gap.
What's up, gents?
Right. So that being said, moving on, we are moving on with Vivix. Vivix, that would be like so close, but yet so far.
Yeah, I mean, this one hurts because I out strategized Caesar in that intermediate wet phase, but then I kind of forgot that Nova would probably be ahead of us anyway because those safety cars were helping him. I was too focused on Caesar and I didn't notice Nova, so I was kind of caught off by that. Yeah, and that affected I think that instinctively affected my driving in the second part of that stint. That was not good driving from me, and yeah, that's why I just lost out on P2 as well.
So
Congrats to Noah.
run us through the safety, the first safety car, where Caesar went to pits, but you decided to stay out on the set of soft tires. What was so? Did you figure that this is gonna be a passing weather, or was it a more of a gamble?
So Jeff said that it would rain for around 10 minutes when the safety car first came out. So me and Sid, my teammate, we were just talking about it, and we didn't want to double stack basically because then both of us would be losing it. So I just told Sid to take the safer option, which was to just pit it, and I went with the riskier strat there, which was to stay out on those dries, and it worked out for me back then. So that kind of was unexpected, but I'll take that. But just failed to capitalize on that.
Right, but then the safety car restart didn't go well with you. Both the safety cars where you were spammed by Caesar on safety car one and spammed by Noah Ways in safety car two. So what happened exactly in the second safety car with Noah already taking a half or like couple of tenths gap in that straight? So was it
Yeah,
the
no,
tires when warmed up, or was it a killer start from Noah Ways?
no. I just thought that we hadn't crossed the line yet because you can only overtake after you cross the after you cross the finish line. So I guess I must be mistaken on where the actual finish line is. So that's probably Noah just timed it to perfection.
Perfect.
Basically, I mean, I can't really say much about that. That was a very smart move from him.
Right, so that's the season, and it's a strong season for you guys, McLarens, who didn't start off well, but did manage, and it's a P2 for you guys, just behind Ferrari. So that's congrats to you for taking P2 in the Constructors Championship. Talking about Constructor, so Sid Venkatesh, that was a drive. That was a drive that you always wanted with a pit stops close to three pit stops, but still managing to finish P7. Talk us through that and talk us through the entire season. Do we have Sid Venkatesh? Right, it said. Right.
Sid, Malav here. If you could just talk us through that overtake on Sonic in Sector 2. I think one of the very few overtakes we saw not on the start finish straight, and it was a really good move and well judged as well. Yeah, the right hander in Sector 2.
Right. So congrats to you, Sid Venkatesh. That was P2 for you guys. I'm pretty sure you would be all geared up for coming stronger next year. So talking about that, we have serial killer in Mercedes who has finished P4. So serial killer.
Hi.
That
Yes.
was the race that you were expecting, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, that was where I wanted to be. But how I got there is pretty funny because I got a flyer. I got a great start. I had lights out, and I was just going up the outside of Nova West, but with two wheels on the grass, trying to pass him. But there was no space there, and I broke my wing. And at that point, it was all too familiar, where I put in a decent quality performance and then just break my wing in the race. So all those safety cars really helped me. So sorry to the guys who got screwed by it. So I think I did 3 stops, could have been 4, inters, back on tries, and all kinds of stuff. So and there was some pretty big crashes in front of me that I drove through. So in the end, I kept the penalties to a minimum, and I was happy to be 4th. And on top of that, for the season, I started racing here midway, and then became full time sometime midway through the season. So I had a lot of fun. Obviously, there's so many fast drivers here, so anywhere in the top 5 or top 8 is a big achievement. So yep, good to be here, and looking forward to the next season.
Right. Congratulations for you, Serial, and we hope to see you some stronger finishes next season around. And right, so let's move on. We have the driver that wanted is was a man of the mission is Mayank 7799. So Mayank, that was a race that you always wanted. Certainly not doesn't reflect or does justice to the season of Alpha Tauri. But that was one hell of a race, wasn't it?
It was, and I mean, this is one of my favorite tracks as well. A little bit screwed with the penalty, actually. That was very harsh, actually, when I was going into the pits, that 5-second one. Otherwise, it was a P6 kind of a performance. But anyway, I mean, safety car also did play its part, and I just pitted once. I thought I will get through the weather, but that's how rain does. You never know when it's gonna stop and it's gonna be changing. So yeah, if I would have pitted to Inters, might have reflected something else on the charts. But anyway, it was a good race for me.
But talking about the pits, in the safety car, you were the guy who did stay out, then went to pits, and
Yep.
then went to a set of dry tires, not inters. So were you fully confident that the rain would be going away?
I believe I was 2 laps. I pitted 2 laps later because I should have pitted for Inters, because the 2 laps that were there, people had pitted for Inters, and they made most out of it. And I tried my luck out. I thought it will be over in a lap, but it didn't. So I lost around 3 to 4 positions over there. was really struggling in those 2 laps. But yeah, when I went for my pit stop, I knew the weather is almost kind of a dry, so it was a gamble for 1 lap, which actually paid off well. And my speeds, I was just seeing the timings also. I mean, I was pretty quick on the hards as well, so I knew hards is something that will suit on this track more than the soft. So I was inching for the pit to be gone for the hearts, but yeah. Anyway, might be a little different strategy would have helped, but anyway, it was a good race. A couple of overtakes as well, so it was a nice one.
So congratulations on that, Mayank, and we hope to see you stronger next season around. Talking about that, talking about the strong finishes, we have Azun. So Azun, uh, P5, buddy. On a second race in IRL, you also didn't go to an Inters. So talk us through that.
The end of lap one, I got hit and there was no place to join safely on track, so I was lost. And then I did make some mistakes, like I did go onto the inters in the first safety car, but then next lap I pitted onto the mediums. So yeah, or I even attempted an overtake on Mayank, which probably cost me P4 in the end. But yeah, it was a good race.
Congrats to you, and we hope to see some stronger finishes, buddy, in next time around. So, talking about that, I think that covers all. And so, one last time, Noah, congrats to you on that race win that was longing, and congratulations on finishing P2 in the championship. Some of the events didn't
Thank
go
you.
your way, but that was a like-to-like competition in some capacity with Caesar, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I know Caesar's quite much faster than I am, so I could
Right,
give him a little competition. I'm happy with that. I mean,
right.
I've won
So,
the first and the last race, I think. I
oh,
think so.
yes.
It's pretty good.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that was more a Kimi-like response from our race winner Nova West, and that concludes our season
I
three.
am
And
driving his car.
right, and that concludes our season three. This is along with Malav, who has been my comms buddy and finishing ahead of all the times in history of IRL, finishing P4 Malav. So, Malav, just as a driver, run us through that season, getting that win in in Baku. That was one hell of a season for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, considering how last season ended, I would never have imagined I would finish P4 in a championship. Yes, I got lucky at times in terms of other incidents around, and Baku. I don't want to talk much about Baku. That was a controversial race which has led to a couple of rulings, which has the rules which have changed. But yeah, good season overall. I have to thank Caesar for his support throughout the season. He has helped me immensely when it comes to a lot of things, right from the setups to what to do during races, and even with my ERS and fuel settings and all of things. So unfortunately, I will not be able to race with him, but I hope to be closer to him next season. And congratulations to Nova and VFX as well for a brilliant season, and Nova for today, obviously, getting that win.
Right. So, Malav, congrats to you on getting that constructors. So, yeah, that's all from the Combox this season. This is your buddy 7 signing off and lights out.
Boom.